If you're interested in getting your career going, today we are discussing the career growth opportunities on YouTube. And I have a very special guest. He is a podcaster, a content creator. He is also a graphic designer and a lot more. So, welcome to the show. Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm very excited having you today. And I want to start straight off. There are so many opportunities for different professionals on YouTube and other platforms. So, in general, can you share with us what are some of these career growth opportunities that we want to go deep into today?
Yes, thank you for asking. In fact, right now we are in the best of times because right now, YouTube as a platform is rewarding people who are creating content. And right now, the minimum criteria is if you have 1,000 subscribers
Mhm.
and at least 4,000 viewing hours, you
Mhm.
qualify for their program where you can start making money. Now,
Right.
from my research, what I've seen is there are two major ways of taking advantage of YouTube or in terms of content.
Mhm.
One is where you're creating content, you as an individual, about yourself, your skill, or your
Mhm.
journey. And the second one is if you are creating content on other people. And that's why we see is very famous strategy that entertainment does, news does, is it reports on others. So those are
Mhm.
the two major foundations if you look at any content out there. So now the
Mhm.
question for you is where are you in your journey of life? If you're still young, you're still in school, you probably do not have a lot of life experience, you
Mhm.
can still create content about the journey of school. What are the
Yeah.
challenges you're going through? What are the subjects that you're learning? What are you learning in class? And what are you learning out of class? And
Right.
you'll be surprised that within your class, you might be like 20 students at least. If
Mhm.
you ask them what they're learning from this topic or from this class or from this subject, you're going to get different responses. So you
Right.
find that one of the underrated uh, strategies for creating content is to document your journey. And I cannot reiterate that because one of the challenges, especially being in Africa, is we've been told in Africa that we're an oral society, how we tell stories. But now
Yeah.
the question is if you do not document your stories, how can
Right.
I find you, Daniel, if your stories were not documented at all?
Mhm.
So we have very powerful Africans, men, women, boys, and girls who are doing wonderful things. But because we don't see their content, they don't have videos, they don't have books, we don't know they exist. When we go online, we don't see them. And because we're not in their family, we're not in their circle of friends, maybe we're not in
Mhm.
their church or in their hobbies or the groups, we do not know they exist. So therefore, we can't even have a conversation with them about
Right.
how can I participate with you, or if I have a skill, how can I provide my skill to you, or if I have a
Mhm.
resource that could help you, how can I join the dots for you? And if you look at all our learning, I would dare
Yeah.
say between 90 to 95% of our learning, the books come from outside of Kenya and Africa.
Oh.
So yeah, if you look at our curriculum, whether it's from primary, high school, the kind of books we read now, if you want to quote
Mhm.
about being successful, career coaches, what have you, a lot of the material comes from outside of Africa. So, right now, this is an awesome opportunity. So, like I mentioned, if you're a student, don't feel bad that you've not achieved anything because
Right.
you can document your journey. Now, if you are a professional, if you're an entrepreneur, a leader in business, it doesn't matter whatever industry, banking, insurance, technology, entertainment.
Yeah.
What you know right now is not available in any of the universities right now, whether you're speaking about the University of Nairobi, whether you're speaking about USIU Africa, Kenyatta University, what have you. By the time if these institutions decide that they would like to teach your knowledge, it'll probably maybe be 5, 10 years from now. And if they decide, let's say we're doing it and it's 10 years from now,
Yeah.
what you've experienced in your business and every, learning wisdom that you have will have exponentially moved 10 years. So this is a free idea for all of you who are industry professionals now.
Right.
If schools right now charge on an average between 10,000 shillings to 25,000 shillings per semester or per term,
Mhm.
per student, and normally you're encouraged to have 4 credits. So that is 100,000, between 40,000 and 100,000 per semester, per term that you as an industry professional are missing out on. Let me
I
repeat
like
that
that.
again.
I
You
like that.
are missing out because education is one of the multi-billion-dollar institutions. And it's not about the
Right.
money. Education is how us as human beings interact with one another. Right now, I'm learning from you, Daniel. You're learning from me, Daniel.
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is where the career opportunities lie.
Yes, I like what you put it across. Maybe just to summarize. Number one, platforms are rewarding creators by paying them. Yeah. On top of just being rewarded by the platform, you can also monetize in different ways because you see, you're just documenting your journey. No one has a journey like yours. You're a student, you're a banker, you are an architect. These stories you document, and then you can be able to monetize as you go along. Quite very powerful insights. As I can see here, there's a user on LinkedIn saying very powerful insight. Now, we are welcoming you, our guest, to drop in any questions you might have for me, for my guest, as we talk about the opportunities that are there in terms of content creation on platforms like YouTube and all that. And we will be able to answer all the questions. Also, drop in the comments where are you joining us from? I would be very happy to read through and see where you're joining us from. So back to you, Andrew. I want to ask, yeah, what do you see as the main challenge in terms of local content creation or the creators locally? What challenges are they facing? Why are we not putting out our stories there?
I would say that there are a couple of factors, and just thinking about it, I think the number one factor is mindset.
Hmm.
And I think that as human beings, we might not understand the full impact of having a role model. So, like, especially growing up in the Kenyan context, a lot of our models, let's say on entertainment growing up, were white people. So we
Right.
think that, our Kenyans cannot create quality movies, or we don't have, let's say, famous actors or actresses. But now, until when a quality movie is released, and you
Hmm.
see an actor or actress that you admire and they act so in such a powerful way, it now makes you as a young boy or young girl realize that, oh my God, this can be an option for me.
Hmm.
So the power of role models. That's why we need to tell our stories. Uh, so another challenge is sometimes imposter syndrome, which is you feel you don't fit in because you don't have the criteria, and
Okay.
we under and understanding our environment is one of the most powerful things that you can do in order to be successful in life. And one of these requirements we are told is schooling, the knowledge needed to execute. Like if you're a doctor, you cannot just be a doctor just saying, because of my desire. You have to go to medical school, for at least 8 years. So the reality is there's some sort of learning that happens. Now, maybe the skill that you want might not have a school or a learning environment close to where you are, and you
Yes.
might be hearing a voice of, just go out and start, and you're
Hmm.
wondering, where do I start? Because I have to apply some knowledge, some skill. Maybe there's no teacher or coach that can really give you the uh, techniques, the
Yes.
fundamentals needed to unlock this specific career. So when you're trying to practice this on YouTube or,
That
or
is right.
on or even offline, you might feel like an imposter because you're not yet the embodiment of this. So that is a huge factor holding people back. The first is mindset and imposter syndrome, not having a ways of learning. And I would say also lack of knowing the process.
Ah.
And when I say lack of knowing the process, it's not just the technical process of what to do,
Mm-hmm.
It's who you become as you go through this process. You change. You move from being scared to, having confidence. And in fact, I'd like to bring in uh, a small tool.
Yeah.
When they say, especially like when you're grieving when someone has passed away, you go through 5 stages of grief. So
Mm-hmm.
there's depression, there's blame, there's bargaining, there's one more stage, and then there's acceptance. So sometimes you're depressed because I'm like, Daniel has all this support and resources and I don't. Then you
Right.
start blaming, oh, my dad didn't do this, or my mom didn't have that. If I went to this school, if we had this, I could have had that opportunity too. And then,
Yeah.
yes, then you start bargaining, and then finally you just decide to accept, look what's in your hand, and just start with that. Because you might find that even though you may be told one way is how to achieve this, if
Mm-hmm.
you listen to the success stories of a lot of people, it is never a straight road. It's all different paths, people having all different sorts of obstacles. So, what I would say is the process. You're always discovering. Have a learner's mindset
Mm-hmm.
that failure is the way to move forward in life. I'll repeat that again, that failure is the way to move forward in life. That even though you don't know what
Yeah.
to do, just take one step. Just take one step. Just take one step.
I couldn't agree more. I can see here Kiplagat saying, following, and it is very, very powerful. We also have Anthony all the way in the Dub refugee camp and saying this session is amazing. There's someone here who's coming in from Zimbabwe. He's saying, hey, I'm joining from Zimbabwe. I totally agree with what Andrew is saying. I wish I had about YouTube during my university days. I would have really seized the moment and documented my journey. But just to say, Tanya, it is never too late to start documenting your journey. Just like the Chinese proverb, is it the best day, the best time to planted a tree was like 10 years ago. The best second time to plant a tree is now. So it's never too late to get there. Let me just check and see if we have any questions before we proceed. I can see there's someone joining us in Nigeria. Brian saying also very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to drop in your questions in the chat and we will be able to answer them. Okay, let me see. I think this is a question. Speaking about education, I'm being a teacher. I think exactly what I want to hear. Okay, that was a comment. Thank you very much.
And I have a
Okay, another.
question too, that if, since I'm sharing so much, I know
Yes.
there's so much stuff that's being shared, so many tips. If
Mm-hmm.
there's something that really just rings your bell, you're like, aha, eye opening moment for you, please just share that in the comments below. Because I've vowed in this presentation to share as much as I can within the limited 30 to 45 minutes we have. So please just share the comment in the comment section below. I'll really appreciate to know what resonates with you
Yeah.
so that I can even just help you find more resources for that. Thank you.
Here's another one. Actually, someone is enjoying their taking their pen and paper out, and they're saying mindset is really the key. They're trying to run a successful online business. Yeah, mindset it plays a very very big part. Okay, let me just quick shout out to Geoffrey. Thank you very much. He agrees. I can see again he's in Nairobi, Kenya. We also have Victor saying it's a great session. Now, as we proceed, let me ask you. Um, in what ways do you think now that we have this idea, we have the right mindset, we try as much as possible to overcome the imposter syndrome and we trust in the process? Yeah. Where can someone start building up this content and what are the different ways to monetize this whole documentation journey?
Okay. Right now on all social platforms, you have YouTube,
Hmm.
which is optimized especially for videos. And you
Right.
have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Facebook.
Hmm.
Now, what YouTube is very optimized for is long form content.
Right.
So, when you're thinking of your content, there are four specific pillars you need to consider when you want to create content. Ask yourself that, is it entertaining? Is it inspiring? Entertaining, inspiring, motivating, and I'll think of a last
Educative.
one. Educative, yes, that's right.
Right.
Now, your pillar might be even might be a combination, but you'll find that ask yourself this question first: why do you go on YouTube? What is it that you watch a lot of? Like, especially, some people like watching cat videos just for entertainment. Some people love watching dance videos, music videos. So there's always something that attracts your attention. So start with yourself. Just write down three things. What are the three major things you spend time on YouTube? Put for what entertains you, what inspires you, what are you learning, and what is it that motivates you? It could be from biographies, it could be, some kind of TV shows. So currently, as a podcaster myself, I watch a lot of communication videos. I watch TED Talks. For those unfamiliar with TED Talks, it is technology, education, no, technology, entertainment, design. There are talks around those themes, and they teach you how to package your information into bite-sized chunks. So I will say that that's one of the skills you need to learn, especially when you're putting out on YouTube, that you need to learn the art of communicating. How can you put your message in bite-sized chunks? Because that's not what you are taught in school. So the reality is three skills that you really need right now to unlock not just YouTube, but life for yourself. How to communicate, and that's verbally. Second one is how to communicate written. In fact, let's just put that in one. Communication, how to write, and how to speak. The second one is how to build a community around what you're interested in. Notice that you do this automatically offline. Maybe at church, your hobby, you like playing basketball. You don't play basketball alone. You have a team, a group of friends. You meet frequently, whether it's once a week, twice a week, or what have you. Or maybe you're a musician, you have bandmates, you have gigs every month, you have fans that come out and watch you. So everything you do, you have a community. And that's what YouTube gives you the opportunity to do, to create a community, an audience, fans around the thing that you're interested in, around the things that you are curious in. Last but not least, you have to learn how to do business. And my definition of business is that you have a product or service or skill that you can give to someone else, filling in a gap in their lives for, people call it for a fee or for an energy exchange, or you have to trade it for something.
Right.
So do not, what's the word I'm looking for? Take for granted. Yes. Do not take for granted the ability and skill you have. There are many ways of unlocking this for yourself, but the main thing is figure out what is it that people say about you that, oh, Daniel, you're so good at this. Oh, Susan, wow, we notice, we love it when you do this. Wow, well, we wish we could do it like you. That's one indication. So listen to what people are saying about you. And the second thing, also listen to yourself. What do you find that you can do so easily? That's another thing. Another one last tip is, what is it that when people do, you feel pissed off that they're not doing it well, I can do it better? That's another indication of where your interest lies. So if you can apply these three things, you'll be successful in life. Now, if you look at anyone who is successful, it doesn't matter whether they're good or bad. Morality is not an issue here. They're applying all these three factors. You notice they have a community, you notice they know how to communicate, and they know how to do the business of that craft, whatever it is. So that is what you need to monetize your content, because as you build your audience, they'll subscribe to you so that they can listen more of what you have. And once you hit that 1,000 subscribers, like I mentioned, and 4,000 views, that's when you start making money. So let me give you a couple of examples that I know of. For example, there's Patricia Kihoro. She's a Kenyan singer, songwriter, actress, musician, a radio host. And if you type in Patricia Kihoro on YouTube, she's also a brand ambassador. So she uses this to push products. So she's a marketer slash influencer. She
Mhm.
currently, at the moment of the releasing of this video, has 40.4 thousand subscribers, and she has over 2 million views.
Mhm.
So she's a lifestyle person. So talks about so many things, from travel to makeup. Yes. Another example, for example, is cleaning the airwaves. This is a site run by Richard Njao, who is
Okay.
a digital marketer. He calls himself a digital enabler. But what's special about this channel is he interviews movers and shakers from all walks of life. And currently, he is at 39.8 subscribers with
Mhm.
5.3 million views.
Right.
And he just does in-depth interviews. How was your life growing up in primary, high school? What have you learned as a result of being in the industry? And so these are just examples of the kinds
Mhm.
of content Patrick and Joe does: interviews, Patricia Kihoro does lifestyle. And even, let me just share one last example with you. We have our very own Daniel Mutuku, who's known as the Career Point Solutions Guru, who helps you whip up your CV into shape and shares with you
Mhm.
opportunities all over the world, how to work in different organizations like the UN, amongst others. And he's currently at 77.7 subscribers with 1.9 million views. So he shares tips on how to get your CV in check. He even has a program where he rewrites your CV for you based on what you has. And in fact, Daniel, uh, you could even just tell us a little bit of your journey. What are the things that held you back, and what helped you move forward?
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that and even bringing me on board here. And yeah, it has been a journey, and I want to say, trust the process. Back in 2019, I said I must make this thing work. And at that time, yes, I already had a YouTube channel. It was there with some few videos here and there. But 2019, November, I said I'm going to make this work. We started posting videos with one of my friends. It's called Andrew Opere, who are reviewing books. And with the time, came 2020, I was introduced to a coach and a YouTube coach, yeah, who teaches people how they can be able to grow their channel. I got into one of the challenges that he had. It was a 30-day challenge. I followed through, and my channel started picking up. Back in November 2019, I think I had 100 and something subscribers. Then joining this, what would I say, this coaching program or the challenge between May of 2020 to August 2020, I was able to get to 1,000 subscribers. I was able to hit the 4,000 watch hours. And yeah, I got monetized. And from there, of course, a lot of learning. You think you know until you realize you really don't know. So following, having coaches, having gurus, learning, it is a continuous learning process. If you check some of the videos that I did back in 2019 or 2020, they're totally different from how I do videos now. I think also the pandemic enabled this idea of now us being able to stream live. Yeah. So this again is an opportunity that I decided I am going to go live. I think starting last month. Yeah. Every day of the week, or at least as regular as possible, having guest speakers so that we can be able to share this information. So the idea is the fact that I come from a service point of view. I serve first. By the way, all my YouTube videos are about serving, teaching. People are able to learn. So there's the bit of education. And then from there, I can be able to monetize. So I can say it has been a journey, a lot of commitment. It is hard work. Yeah. It's not just something, it's not a quick, get rich quick kind of a thing. But you dedicate the time, the effort, you learn, and voila, you get to where I am right now.
And would you mind just sharing what's the beginning paycheck you get as opposed to what you're getting now? You can just give an average. You don't have to say, if you're not comfortable sharing the exact amount that you're getting now, it's fine. But at least just give us a sort of an average. What are we looking for
Okay,
to?
let me just say that when you start, you need to get to 100 US dollars for them to send you the check. Yeah. So it took me about 3 months. I remember it was about August is when I got monetized, end of August. So it took me September, October, November, and I think in December is when, combined all this month, I was able to get to the 100 US dollars. That is about 10,000 Kenya shillings. But then I said I really need to ramp it up so that I can be able to get this $100 every month. And I think, yeah, across 20, was it now 2021, every month I was able to get to that mark, and it has continued growing. Yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. In fact, one thing I also want to reiterate is getting a coach. For my podcast, the Revenge of the Forsaken Gods podcast, where I
Yeah.
try and look for those things we are not taught in school. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel was very instrumental in my growth
Mm-hmm.
because, we're just sharing resources with one another. And another person who's also instrumental in my growth is Regina Ray Gitao. If you're Kenyan, you
Mm-hmm.
probably know her. She's an actress. But apart from being an actress, she is a communications coach,
Mm-hmm.
and she's also a personal development coach. So she combines both all those three spheres. And she's worked in radio, she's been on TV, she's been a television host, and she's been in the industry for a while. So, because Daniel, her, and I happen to be in the same book club, which
Mm-hmm.
is called the League of Young Professionals, we meet once a month, and every month we read different books. And as part of the experience, people volunteer to present the book, a summary of the book, in
Yeah.
terms of like a TED Talk style. You're given 17 minutes. And Regina Ray is one of the communications coaches that gives you feedback,
Mm-hmm.
how well you did, what worked in your presentation, and what you need to work on to be a better and more effective communicator. So she would totally give, so much feedback. And I can see that my growth changed from the first episode even until my episode now. And, she's just real talk, straight talk. She'll tear you down. But she does it in love because she says that you
Yeah.
improve. Because when you apply the things she tells you, you just notice your whole life just transforms, and people are like, oh, my God, you're such a natural. You're so eloquent. I'm like, me? Wow, thank you. This thing works.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with you. I agree
so
with you.
coaching is a huge thing.
Good one. Actually, now that there's a very good question here from LinkedIn user. I'm not sure who he is, but several questions. Maybe we can go one by one, and also we can
Sure.
toss it back and forth and see what you can add. So he's asking, in your opinion, yeah, Daniel and Andrew. Number one, what makes a good content creator? How do you plan and come up with new ideas? What are some of the habits of successful content creators? Four, how do you overcome creators block? Oh, ton of
Okay.
very good questions. Let's start with
Wonderful,
number one.
wonderful.
What makes a good creator,
Um,
content
I'll
creator?
s- I'll say curiosity. Be curious about your surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
and being a voracious learner. That's what I would say is the number one key of being a good content creator.
Yeah.
Curiosity, and also learning how to be a good storyteller. Because those two are intertwined. If you look at our lives, it's all stories.
Mm-hmm.
Right now your parents tell you, oh my God, when Daniel was a baby, he used to be like this. And even right now, who you are right now, if I ask you who you are, you're going to tell me a story. I am, Andrew from Kenya, or I'm Andrew from Zimbabwe, and I'm interested in this. I've gone to school, I studied this. This was my challenges. This is how I fell down. These are the things I've achieved in life. This is who I like. This is the music I listen to. So life is a story. Understand the principles of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just tell you a quick template for storytelling. You are character A, and you want to get to point C, but there's obstacle B blocking you. Now, this obstacle B can be a person, it can be a thing, it can be time, it can be a circumstance, it can be even yourself.
Right.
And the juiciest of stories is how A overcomes B in order to get to C. But once A gets to C, this character A is not the same person he or she was when they started out this journey and compared to who they are now when they're at point C. That's the template of every single story you want to name on planet Earth. And you notice that the bigger the obstacle, the juicier the story. Hence, the greatest growth that you have as a character, whoever that character is. So, that I would say is the greatest skill of being a good content creator. Learning how to be a storyteller, whether you want to choose to do it verbally or written is up to you. And curiosity. How do things work? Observing your environment. Why does this happen the way it is? Why do I do what I do? Why do my parents do what they do? Why does my tribe do what they do? Why does church say what they say? Why does my school do what it does? Why does my country do this? Observe the conflicts, observe the triumphs, ask questions.
I like that. Let me tackle question number two. How do you plan and come up with new ideas? And this is somehow actually tied to overcoming writer's block, because when you have the writer's block, that is when maybe you're not able to have new ideas. Then you can take us through maybe question three. What are some of the habits of successful? So for you, how you plan and come up with the new ideas. When I started, I'll just share my story. I just said I will be putting out a video every week. That is since 2002, 2020. Yeah, 2020. So we have been 2020, 2021. Now we're in 2022. I still put out a video every Monday, and I've not run out of ideas. Actually, right now, I have a lot of ideas of videos that I'm going to do. Why? Because number one, once you get into the process, you start learning as you go about. Then, when you have coaches and you have people to guide you, they open up your thinking, and you start seeing things in a different perspective. And thirdly, there are tools out there that can help you to come up with ideas as long as you know where you are starting. Number one, you need to understand, who are you serving? Who is my audience? What are some of the challenges that they are facing? How can I help them overcome these challenges? You can also think about me or yourself 2 years ago. What challenges were you facing? And right now, where you're here, there's someone who is your 2 year old or 10 years older, yeah, facing the same kind of situation. So how can you share your story to show them, I was here, this is what I did, I'm here, I want to bridge the gap, I don't want you to go through all that hurdles. Then we have also online tools that assist you to get ideas. Now, once you are clear on the person that you are serving, the kind of challenges that they are facing, and the solutions that you can provide, then you need to have maybe certain keywords that will help you to know this is the person. For example, in my case, I am in the career space. I help people who are looking for jobs. My key vision is to make people more employable and to increase their earning potential. And anyone who is in the career field, I help them especially get jobs with NGOs and international organizations. So some of the keywords that I use, I know someone will go to Google or YouTube and search how to get a job, how to apply for a job, how to write a CV, how to write a cover letter, how to get a promotion, how to answer questions in an interview. Now, based on those keywords, I can use Google. By the way, just go to Google and type a part of your keyword, and you will realize that it will actually start populating some ideas for you. For example, if I go and say how to search or how jobs in, it will tell me in Kenya, in Nairobi, in NGOs. So those are the ideas where you can start. We have other tools like for YouTube, I use a tool called TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy helps in keyword research, seeing how much volume of a certain keyword is being searched, and how can you optimize your video to fit that keyword such that if anybody searches for that word, then they can get you. There's another website called Ask the Public. If you just put certain keywords, it will give you ideas of certain questions that people are asking, and you can create content in that light. So there are tools out there, but it starts you starting off, getting into the trenches and understanding what your audience is looking out for, and then using now some of this technology again to keep on going. So right now, as I said, initially I was very scared. Will I be able to consistently produce content? But right now, I already have like 3 or 4 ideas of videos that I have to go. And it does not mean sometimes I don't have, sometimes actually I'm blank. I don't have a video. It is Monday. Of course, I think in advance. It's like next week on Monday, I don't have the video. What do I do? And of course, I can go back, get some inspiration, and continue. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, Andrew, as you take care of question number 3. What are some of the habits of successful content creators? And ladies and gentlemen, I can see we are at 35 mark. If you have any question, maybe we'll answer 2 more questions. Feel free to drop them in the chat. Just to appreciate, there's someone here saying, hi, be what? Great content. Thank you. I can see there's Dr. Rajdurai all the way from India. Karibu sana. There's Augustine in Uganda. Or there's someone here from also another part. Is it India? Lisa, welcome. Andrew, what are some of the habits of successful content creators?
Well, before I say that, I think I want to tie it into the second one, and also the fourth one. For me, I don't think there's writer's block. I think writer's block is not just doing the work. For me, I've come to notice saying writer's block is like saying I have eating block. There's no way you can eat. What it is I think the perception that everything you have to release has to be perfect. When you think that way now, that's where the block comes in. The reality is, if you have a learning mindset, put it out there. The reality is, what, for example, you might think is great might not perform as well, and what you might think is crappy that you put out might perform very well. So that's the first thing I'd even say, that point ties into all the other points. What makes a good content creator? Just put it out and listen to how people respond to it. You can do all the things perfect. Writing technique, speaking technique, all the algorithm, you title it nicely, keywords, you put it in nicely. But that doesn't control 100% how someone is going to receive it. We have people from all over the world here, people from India, people from Uganda, Zimbabwe. I do not know how they're receiving this message. The only way I can know how they're receiving this message, if it is meaningful to them, is if you share with me what I'm sharing. So that's why I asked even earlier, please share, one comment, something that resonates with you. Because I can share so much. I might think that point 1 is the most important point to share, but it's point 3 that really hits home for you. So that's what I would say is being a good content creator, is listening to the audience, what the audience says. And like I mentioned in the beginning, there are 2 ways of creating content. If you're creating content for yourself, you might have a writer's block, but if you're creating it for others, it's difficult. Like, for example, my blog, I focus on communicators, storytellers, psychologists, coaches, and subject matter experts. So it's psychologists, there's so many kinds of psychologists, there's so many kinds of coaches I meet, even musicians. So if I meet, let's say, a church musician, and then when I go to a concert, I see an R&B musician or rock and roll, I notice that despite the genre, there's some commonalities, but there are also obvious differences between how they do their craft, what's their mindset, what's the rituals they do to prepare. So it's very difficult for me to have block because, number one, when I'm in this zone of, let's say, focusing on this other person, I'm asking myself, how can I fully know this person? Going back to the storyteller's template. Who is this person? Where do they come from? What makes them tick? What holds them back? Already those 4 questions reveal so much. What's the environment like? What support system do they have? What support system don't they have? How did they achieve what they were able to achieve? Did school help them out? Did church help them out? Did maybe lack of those help them out? So you see, when you start being an active observer of life, write this stuff down so that you can always hit them. Because regardless of whatever shows you watch, whatever TV you watch, whatever stories you listen to, or whatever you consume, you will start to notice there's a pattern. There are fundamentals in everything. So open your eyes. Even the fact that you have writer's block, start using questions, which is what coaches use as a powerful tool to unpack or to open you up to realize what's going on. Why do you think you have writer's block? What's holding you back? Is it a pen that you need? Have a pen. Is it a paper that you need? Get a paper. You don't know what to do? Start with your mom. Ask them what happened at some time. Ask your dad what happened. Go to the shopkeeper. Go to the security person. Go to the supermarket. Go and talk to strangers. There is no reason for you to have writer's block with the amount of stimulus you have around you as a human being. Go to people who are the same as you. Go to people who are different than you are. There's so much stimulus. So now let me go to number 3 and just give you the points. What was number 3 again?
Number 3 was, what are the habits of a good content creator?
Curiosity. Keep on churning out content and listen to what your audience says. Ask them for feedback. And don't just use the text or SMS means or WhatsApp means. Ask questions. Please, I would love if I could hear your response from what I'm sharing. What do you think of this? So the art of conversation, that's what makes a good content creator.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate. I can see so many good information. Ruby's asking what other websites you share along, ask the public. Actually, I have been able to send a link in the chat. This is my TubeBuddy affiliate link. So you get no charge. Actually, you can be able to get a 30 days free trial. And if you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't, you can still use the free version at no extra cost. I'll put that link. I can see the gentleman or the lady here is very happy, saying, can you share the links and the resources you have talked about? Communication coach, mentor, podcast. Yeah, so I will put a link on the description of all these videos to your podcast. You can tell us your podcast is called, Mr. Andrew.
It's called Revenge of the Forsaken Gods. And you can find it on all platforms from YouTube to Spotify, to AfriPods, whatever you prefer. If you prefer to watch it, or even if you prefer to listen, it's all available. And in fact, you can see that you can find one of my interviews with Daniel is even there. I'll send him the link.
Okay, for sure.
And yes, definitely do subscribe. I've shared the link with Daniel. He'll go ahead and share it. Yes, that's a favor I need from you. You can find me on Opereta. That's OPERETAR1, and on Instagram. And on YouTube, just look for Andrew Balongo Opere. And for the podcast, just look for Revenge F Gods on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. It should be able to come up.
Okay, good. I've actually posted that link. I think it's the YouTube channel where you have posted your podcast. So great. Now, I want to put on a lot of resources, but time is really going. And I want to say thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. One more last thing, yeah. Actually,
Sure.
We are in the process of creating a course for YouTube. So anyone who would like to learn how to be able to make money as a YouTuber. So I want to put that link in the chat. So there's a link, and there you just go and put in what is the one thing that you want to learn. Yeah. So if you go to YouTube, not YouTube, just go to careerpoint.co.ke/YouTube. I know LinkedIn usually has a challenge. You might not be able to see these links on LinkedIn immediately, so I'll need to go and post them later. But very easy for you to remember if you just go to careerpoint.co.ke/YouTube. Just put in your name, any question, any comment, what you would want to learn, and then we can be able to build up on that. Actually, this is a great opportunity because you can be able to make money irrespective of which profession you're in. If you're an accountant, if you're a salesperson, teacher, coach, tech, as in, this is not all the list, but also if you want to run a business and all that, we're trying to build up, get all the ideas to come in through, and then we will be able to bring in the show for you. Otherwise, Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Now, the last thing I'd want to ask, and Andrew has been saying, please let us know, what would you say was your greatest takeaway from this session? As I can see, several people have said, oh, this is a great session. Some people saying, oh, yes, let me just speak. Yeah, I can see there was the LinkedIn user saying powerful insight. Keep Lagat saying this was very useful. A lot of good feedback, very powerful session. What would you say was your greatest takeaway? Or in a word or two, we might not take long from here. Just put it in the chat. We'll be able to read them and actually say thank you for putting all that. So, any last words from you, Andrew, as we wait for the comments to come in?
My last words will be embrace that people might not understand what you're trying to do or where you're coming from, and it's okay. For nearly like about a year, I stopped doing my podcast because someone asked me, how are you going to monetize this? Who is it for? And I did not have any answer for that. And I thought, because if you don't have the answer for that, you stop doing what you're doing until you get the answer for that. But I noticed that the more I kept on doing this, then the more ideas started coming out. Because as I started interviewing psychologists, coaches, information that I wish I knew when I was younger, about relationships, about sex, about money. These things are not taught in school, yet we spend what? At least 16 years in school, yet
Mm-hmm.
none of us gets any information about that. So I started realizing that, oh, maybe I could start doing workshops around these things. But this idea would not have come up if I did not go through what I went through. So the last major thing I would share is, in life, a lot of people are told, follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. But that's just one aspect of life. If you start studying stories, you will notice there's another factor that propels you forward, which is your pain, your wound. You're trying to sort healing for your wound. You're confused about life. You're confused about what happened to you, and you're trying to seek answers, solution for that. And your family or your current environment are not giving you the answers you seek. You will notice that is also another opportunity. So those are two sides of one coin. Passion, your wound. They propel every single human being in life. If you look at any story, it's from James Bond to Alice in Wonderland to Nelson Mandela to Wangare Maathai to Lupita Nyong'o to Malala. Everyone has experienced pain, and they're trying to get relief, healing from that pain. And as you look for healing, you're going to find it in places that you would never ever have thought you will find it. That's where the story lies in. So keep on going, keep on having a learning mindset. Write what you're going through down, because that is content that will help, that will save somebody's life. Not just your life, but somebody's life. And when you save your life, when you save somebody's life, you save the community's life, and the planet Earth becomes a much better place to be in.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Has been a very powerful close. I wouldn't say anything more. I want to say thank you also to, is it Marcia, who says, yeah, she joined it late, but she has learned. Thank you very much. The LinkedIn user is really a lot. They have learned a lot, avoiding imposter syndrome. Also noted that it's always important to take the first step. They are motivated, they are inspired. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone. We will be keep checking our YouTube channel, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, wherever you are. Share this link with someone who will think they will be inspired as well. The video is still on YouTube or on Facebook, whichever platform you're in. Share it with them. And until our next live broadcast, we are out.
Thank you very much.